Well, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the pre-show for the Intrepid radio program, coming up in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Something like that. On Odyssey Radio. And so this is just the pre-show for those of you who are here early. We launch at 4 minutes and 26 seconds past the top of the hour. So David Otness, good to see you. Uncle Dave, good to see you as well. Steve Clark, howdy. Good to see you over there in Kansas. So hope everybody's well so far as people start to pile in. Gonna make sure everything is set. It's all automated now. I've got everything automated except my mute button over here. That's this little thing right here. I'd show you if I could. I don't think I can. Nope. Can't show you. That's okay. Trust me, it's there. And interesting day with the kids today. Went out to play in the park. And twice I had to go out there in the evening hours. As late as about 45 minutes ago for the second one. They're all home now, though. So they're fine. Matt Finn, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. We got a little less than 3 minutes before we launch. I do have to launch the server, though. Boom. There it is. Keep my sound levels down. Oh, what have I got playing there? What's going on there? What's playing? Oh, I know what that is. That's a great show. That's John Tenney and his and a friend of his. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. They do a great show. John Tenney is a paranormal investigator guy. You've probably seen him. He had a show for a little bit, but pretty serious dude. And he has a great show, podcast. So what time we got? 2 minutes and 28 seconds after. I got a fly in my hair. There we go. They're all over. They don't touch me outside, but they're inside. Says mic audio 3 times over. There it is. Yeah, we got that echo. So I got to take that down so you don't catch that while we're broadcasting. That's the one of the flaws with the hijacking audio for the radio station is it echoes. It gives us a little feedback. Hey, Susie Q, how you doing? Good to see you. Blackheart. So I saw a pretty good show. I got to find the source for it. I turned the TV on in the bedroom. And of course, Rainey's not here, so I can let that play all night long. And I woke up to some show in Native American history, and it was on the Dakota Wars. I may have mentioned this last night. I've got to find a link for that to show all you guys to see. Very well done. Very good documentary on the Dakota Wars. That took place here in Minnesota in 1862. 61, 62. Lasted 6 weeks. And that's how I remember talking about this, because I remember saying that already yesterday. So, all right, we got about 25 seconds before we go live on the radio station. So, everybody, I need you to stand by. Michelle Cannon Free, you too. And, Dave Potter's at Convergence. We'll talk more about that a little later. So, I'm going to put this whole broadcast on dark for a few seconds, and we'll be right back.
Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
So tonight, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, man or beast or myth. Had to do my Ted Knight for those of you who know what that is. All right, folks. Scotty Roberts here. You're watching my program, the Intrepid radio program, or listening to it right here on Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSY radio.com. Come on over, see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. At the same time, you can watch this show in video simulcast. 4 different places. 3 of them on Facebook, my Facebook page, Odyssey Radio, and Intrepid Radio. And you can come over to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And come on over, and if you're not subscribed already, subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up for the show if you like it. Just doing it in advance because you know you're going to like it. That just helps me over at YouTube. And if you would like to join the channel, take it a step further, just click on the little join button. It'll give you 3 ways you can do that. Thanks for being here. Thanks everybody that's over in the chat room. Was able in the pre-show to say hello to some of you. Thanks for being here. All my regulars, all the Intrepids, and everybody else going on. I got to tell you, being a dad. Now, I don't know how many of you are parents out there. And this is stuff I normally save for the Sunday morning show with Rainey and I, when we talk about parenting stuff and all that other junk. But today, Rainey's out of town, as most of you know. She's in Alaska with my 12-year-old boy, soon to be 13 in a week, Flynn. And I'm home with the 2 little girls, the 7-year-old, the 10-year-old. And today was an interesting afternoon to evening. I get a phone call from Rowan. They're all out playing in the park with their friends. And I hear, Dad, you got to come help. Ellery is stuck in the baby swing. Now, you guys know what those are if you go to the park. If you're a parent, you know what they are. If you're not a parent, they're just the little seat swings. You know, they're like a big cup with the holes for the legs. And Ellery's wanted to climb into those before. And we say, no, you're getting too big, sweetie. You can't get in those. Well, she went ahead and got into one of those. And now what? Hi. Hello. Is there some new tragedy?
Yeah.
Now what? I am doing a live radio show.
Why are there so
So
many
spit it if you need to tell me something.
I'm cute.
Oh, okay. That's the tragedy. All right. And so I get a call from her telling me Ellery is stuck in the baby swing. And so I got to go down and how you doing, Ellie?
Good.
Are your legs healed yet?
Yeah.
Oh, still pretty red. So I got there to the park And there was another mom that was in the neighborhood. I didn't even know who she was. And she was trying to help her get out from Scouts. Okay. And so we couldn't get her out. Her skin was dry and it was swelling up around the cut holes for the legs. And of course, that's the wrong time to say to your kid, now do you know why we say don't crawl into those things? Now do you know why we say don't crawl into those things?
You never say that. See, I got stuck in one of those. Oh, boy. And my friends just decided it would be funny to flip me over, and I fell on my head, but I got out. Well,
that's good. We couldn't get her out.
I tried flipping Ellery over, but she kept telling me.
So, finally, I was going to go back and get some oil, cooking oil. And the woman said, I'll just send my son where our house is right over there. And he ran to get oil, the 9 or 10-year-old boy. He comes back with
7
with oil spray, canola spray for cooking. And the mom kind of rolled her eyes. And so I said, that'll be fine. And I went and I sprayed her legs, both top and bottom, and stuck my finger in and rubbed it all around the outer side of her skin. Said, okay, here we go. And then I went behind her and lifted her from her shoulders or her armpits. And the mom helped ease her legs out. We got her out. Free and clear. And
she wanted to call 911, though.
She wanted to call 911. I said, you know what? I'll come over to the park and see what's going on. So, that without incident. There we go. Her legs are still intact. We didn't have to cut them off to get her out. And although we considered it, we would have considered cutting your legs because those swings are expensive. I don't have money to replace those.
We would have cut the swing.
Your legs would have been covered by our insurance, though.
We would have cut the swing.
So, then a little later, about an hour later, I get a phone call that there's a kerfuffle going on with some boy in the neighborhood, and he kicked Ellie in the face and knocked her tooth out. Now, granted, here, if you take a look at this, you can see those of you watching, at least it was the one that was loose for the last week. Uncle Dave, you remember that loose tooth? It's now out. Well, boys aren't supposed to kick girls in the face. And she's 7. He apparently is 12. And so there was a argument. Somebody was throwing rocks. She went after him to defend herself, she said. It was an act of self-defense, she said. And he knocked her down and kicked her in the face.
I didn't even touch him, and he still kicked me.
Yeah. So Dad drove over to talk to his mom. And as it turns out, it's somebody that Mom is going to be working with at the school as lunch lady. So they knew each other already. So we got that figured out. And of course, there's 2 sets of stories. There's the bunch of boys and then the bunch of girls. And so all those stories went flying. All I said is, well, my girl's the one with the fat lips and the missing tooth. So, so there you go.
Did they get mad at you?
No. The boy was crying for all his bravado for kicking my daughter in the face.
He tried to seem innocent, but he wasn't.
He did. Well, I'm going to send you on your way because I'm going to get on to a different topic. Feeling okay?
Yeah.
Are you concussed?
My
You're
head
fine.
Still hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If only you could have watched it. Kicked her in the face, though. It wasn't funny, but it was actually like kind of cool because
it wasn't funny, but it was kind of cool.
When he kicked, he went like this with his foot,
Mm-hmm.
and her face just went like this.
Nice. Did you catch it in slow-mo?
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, out. See you later.
I saw it in fast version, but
okay. See you later. Go play with sister. You guys start getting ready for bed. You got oil all over your legs. You need to go take a bath.
I don't have any oil.
Well, it's sucked into your skin by now.
I'm
not taking a bath, says the 7-year-old girl. All right, there's the excitement for the night, folks. Now I want to get onto this Bigfoot thing.
Money tonight.
Exit. So I want to ask you all about Bigfoot. You know, we talk about Bigfoot. We see all these accounts about Bigfoots, all these shows about Bigfoot, all these pictures about Bigfoot. And it still has been kept in that category of, boy, it's this weird cryptid. We don't know if it's a real thing or not. And yet there's more. It's kind of like ghosts were 20 years ago or more. Ghosts were a thing that, people were like, I don't know if ghosts exist or not. And now it's almost everybody is getting to that point where they say, well, yeah, I think there's something to that. And Bigfoot is another one of those things that's like that. And never seen a Bigfoot, said Sean Stroik over in the chat room. And I was just seeing if anybody else was saying anything about Bigfoot there. And so we all hear these stories. Now, I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've never experienced one. What do you need? I am on radio. Okay, then that's fine. You can stay in my room tonight. All right, go. I'm on radio. Let's just forget every day. They forget the Dad's doing radio live, and they've got to discuss things that can be discussed after the show. So, bye. Quiet. All right. So we ask ourselves, is this thing a real thing? What is the real evidence? Because it seems even the evidence we get is shaky evidence. So what do we know for sure? And that's the big question. Do we know that these things really exist? Do we know if there is something more to it? So something I looked up because I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to take a look at, I just started looking at Sasquatch stories, Bigfoot stories, things like that, to see what are some of the most convincing stories out there. Hold on a second, folks. I'm going to mute my mic. All right, I'm back. I'm trying to remind them of their responsibilities while I'm doing live radio. So there you go. That's where Rainey comes in handy when we're broadcasting, when the kids are here. So they get mad at each other. You know what they do? They keep yelling right in front of me, right in front of just so the mic picks it up. So that's my family. Folks, those of you who are newer to this broadcast, you will note that my family, I have what I call the familial moments. And as you can see, they're still ongoing now. And there's something that's not clicking in the brain with my children. Is it a psychological problem? Are they tainted? Are they defective and I need to send them back? Because this is something I've only said to them, how many nights out of the year over the last 3 years since we started broadcasting on Odyssey? 3, almost 4 years on Odyssey. So what is it? Don't talk to me during the radio show. I don't have a lock and key. I can't keep them out and blah, blah, blah. But every day it's the same thing. I'm going to come and talk to you. They're showing off. There's a little bit of that. I get that. But Flynn was well beyond that. Yeah, I need a good earwax cleaning. Yeah, I don't even think it's that stylish, Birch. I think it's a willful disbelief in my words. A willful, I don't want to call it disobedience. That's so old-fashioned. It's a willful not doing what Dad says. So you can call that whatever you want. Because they think they can get away with it because it's radio. Blah, 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 blah. I got to move on from that. We'll save that for Sunday. So I wanted to look up, what are the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings out there? And so I kept searching and searching. And I found one that had pictures with it. So I'm going to show you pictures along with these tonight. And I've got to tell you, even in my limited experience with the Bigfoot issue, I will tell you, I've seen a lot more convincing photographs of Bigfoot than most of these. But it's going to be worth looking at them because this is Outside Magazine. I don't know if you're familiar with Outside Magazine. It's adventure and health and travel and gear for doing all those things, exploration and survival, environmental stuff, all of that. And so they had an article, the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings that are out there. And by the way, I like Outside Magazine. I got that years and years ago. I've always been subscribed to that. So Bigfoot seems to pop up in a lot of places. but he sure is elusive when it comes to having his picture taken. And we've all found that. Even when, the picture I took in Egypt and didn't notice it till 7 years later, the figure in the picture, and I believe could be Jinn. Without getting into that story at all, the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw that picture, I went, that looks an awful lot like the Bigfoot pictures that people take, where you get partial images, blurred images, you never see the full thing. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Is there a supernatural connection here? So what I've got here, they describe it Outside Magazine as being the 10 most convincing Bigfoot sightings and photos of those sightings that are out there. I'm going to take down my banner for a minute like this so I can show you these pictures. Here's number one. All right, this one most of us are already familiar with. This is from 1967, and it's from the Patterson-Gimlin film. And this is for decades. People around the world have been fascinated with this whole legend of Bigfoot thing. And call him Sasquatch, call him Yeti, call him the Yowie, call him the Skunk Man, the Dog Man, all of these different things. There's an upright biped, reports of beastly footprints as far as the Himalayas, all the way back around to here. And however, with all the sightings, no definitive proof exists that this creature actually exists. What does that make you think when you hear that? With all we've heard about Bigfoot, all the exposure, all the footprints, all the photos, are they all fake? Are they all duped? Is everybody that's producing this stuff, are they trying to pull the wool over our eyes? I don't think so. But that's one of the earliest ones, 1967. And it's the most famous and arguably the most influential Bigfoot footage is that 1967 film that was shot by Roger Patterson and Bob Giblin in Northern California. The Bigfoot walk it depicts has been parodied by many, but never truly replicated, even with the enhanced image. Have you seen the enhanced image where, the camera was moving when they took the picture of this, but they stabilized the image so everything moves around it, but the image is steady all the way across. And it's hard to tell if it's a person in a gorilla suit or the real deal. But of course, the things that they were looking at was the thing has breasts. How many gorilla suits in 1967 had female breasts? They were looking at the way the sun hit the skin and the hair, and the movement of the hair. You could see the ripple of the muscle, things like that. And they've gone through this in so much detail. They've parsed this thing down. And so even with the enhanced image, it's hard to tell what it is. But you look at that picture right there, and that is such a famous pose of Bigfoot that this is the one you see everywhere. You see cartoons of it. Just look up images of Bigfoot or cartoons of Bigfoot, all in the same pose, looking back over the shoulder, the arm extended out front, the one extended out in the back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they watch this thing walk way off into the woods. If you're only familiar with his image, look for the whole Patterson-Gimlin film, stabilized, and watch that whole trek he makes as he goes off camera into the woods. And you tell me that's a guy in a suit. I don't think it is. So there's the first one. Now, the second one. Let's put this baby up. Here's the second one. Now, this is not a spectacular image. To me, that could be anybody walking along originally because it's so out of focus, it's so blurry. This is called the Marble Mountain Bigfoot. And a youth group was camping in the Marble Mountain Wilderness in California when leader Jim Mills noticed a strange-looking creature skulking along a ridge nearby. And he filmed it for nearly 7 minutes and made making the somewhat grainy footage the longest video of an alleged Bigfoot sighting. So, and that's all they know about it. For 7 minutes, he filmed this figure walking across the ridge. Now, the question is, how big was it? Did it have features? It's somewhat silhouetted here. It's grainy footage. So the big questions you have to ask, and this is something I always asked when it came down to ghost hunting and things like that. When I heard all the, now I knew Jason and Grant personally with the Ghost Hunters. I worked for them on their magazine as their editor-in-chief back in 2009, 2010, right in that range of time. And they were getting all kinds of criticism over the shows, and skeptics would say, oh, we saw there's a wire pulling your jacket there, or whatever it might be. And I know I asked Grant and Jason both personally. I said, guys, what is this? I said, are the producers setting things up? I said, tell me this is real or not. And Grant said, the one thing I can tell you, he says, is that what happened, happened. And he says, we didn't make anything up. The producers didn't do anything. Now, what I had to go on there was whether or not I trusted the credibility of the individual. And I did. I trusted the credibility, especially of Grant. I knew him very well. I knew his wife, and I trusted his credibility as an individual. And so the same thing would have to apply to some of these Bigfoot pictures. You got to ask yourself, the people that are producing these images, like this one in front of us right now, are these people who are credible? Now, I don't know many of these people at all, and the rest of them not at all. So I don't know for sure. I don't know about the credibility, but I think that those are the things that come into question. When I had people criticizing my books and trying to deconstruct my personal character as opposed to just criticizing my book, I said, you don't know me from Adam, so how can you make that judgment call? Why don't you ask people who know me? So anyway, there's that. Here's our third picture. This one right here, you can see this is an ice. There's a pickaxe for size and of this footprint. And I kind of like these odd-shaped footprints where you see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, the pointer on the screen here. I don't think you can, but you see the big toe at the top, the middle toe, if you will. And then there's that gap, and there's the other two toes, and there's probably another one down here in the print. I like the odd-shaped footprints because it says to me it's not a mold, it's not a casting. Somebody would have to create something that was odd-shaped in order to make something like this. Now, this particular photo is Eric Shipton's Snowy Bigfoot, a Yeti, maybe? And British explorer Eric Earl Shipton snapped this photograph while trekking through the Himalayas in 1951, alleging that the footprint belonged to a Yeti. In 2014, Christie's auction house in London capitalized on the worldwide interest in Bigfoot and sold the original photo for nearly $5,000. That was in 2014. Now, that's not a fortune, the things that you hear selling at Christie's, but this photograph apparently is very well known and made somebody $5,000. So what do you think of that footprint? And down in the lower portion here, there's somebody either put their own footprint. It looks like in the lower left, somebody put maybe they had one of their Sherpas. Hey, take your shoe off and put your foot in the snow so we can make a comparison. I don't know what that is. So it doesn't say here in the story. Now, the next one. This is, once again, not a spectacular image. What could that be? Could that be a bird that you have no depth of field here with the lens? You're catching a bird silhouetted in the middle. Could it be a tree stump? We don't know exactly. But this is the Provo, I'm sorry, not the Provo Canyon. This is the Independence Day Bigfoot, it's called. And this is courtesy of the Bigfoot Evidence company, organization. So the Independence Day film, it's a beast was caught in a remarkably clear video. Okay, this is just a still out of the video. And I think I've seen this. A remarkably clear video that shows an alleged adult Bigfoot walking through the woods with a cub or a kid in tow. And the filmmaker and exact location are unknown. And so many skeptics claim there's a telling visible seam of a gorilla suit. So I don't see it in this picture. But that's what I always come up with too. You always hear skeptics. It's like if you go all the way back to the Patterson Gimlin picture. Oh, can't you just see? You can see the seams. Well, really, you can't. Go watch again. A high resolution, stabilized version of this Bigfoot shot, and you are going to be hard pressed to find a gorilla suit there. All right, let's move on. The next one. Here's another one. This must be again from a film because it's questionable when I look at it. This is the Provo Canyon Bigfoot. And the Provo Canyon Bigfoot, this was taken in October of 2012. And it was a group of siblings that were hiking in Provo Canyon. They thought they spotted a bear in the woods and started filming. When the creature stood up on two legs, the hikers ran, abruptly ending the shaky video. So a year later, the siblings launched a Kickstarter campaign to investigate another Utah Bigfoot sightings. Now, I don't know whatever became of that, but this is the picture that was part of the film that they took. Now, I don't know if this is the brothers where people thought they were faking it, but everybody thinks somebody's faking it at the beginning. And it takes people who are, how can you be a Bigfoot expert if nobody has really had the opportunity to examine one? You might have people that have seen one, but examining one, seeing what they're really like, testing them, so on and so forth, so forth. How do you do that? Bring it into a preserve, bring it into you hate to say lock it up in an enclosed cage, but to be able to study the thing, how would you do that without doing it harm? So those questions are out there. I wonder what a young Sasquatch would be called, says Rebecca Genesis. A young Sasquatch? I don't know, Rebecca. Do you have a punchline coming on with that over in the chat room? I wonder what a young Sasquatch would be called. It's a good. It's Junior. The dog. He was named after the dog. Indiana was the dog. That's what it was. Indiana was the dog. If you know what that reference is, it's funny to you. So poses more questions than answers, says Michelle Canonfried. Certainly does. And there's a lot of cryptid lore. You're right about all this. Squalling Sasquatch. That's David Otness. He's guessing at the young Sasquatch name or word. So let's go on to the next one here. Now, here's another one. I've seen this picture before. You see way down at the bottom of that white tree, or what looks white in the night vision, you will see what almost looks like a chimpanzee that is there. And the story behind this one is that this is the Allegheny Bigfoot. So in 2007, hunter Rick Jacobs captured some of the most famous Bigfoot images to date with a camera that was mounted to a tree in Pennsylvania's Allegheny National Forest. His camera also captured clear photos of bear cubs, offering evidence that the unidentified animal was not seen. But skeptics believe the animal is just a bear, sick with mange. So there you go, folks. There are the extent that skeptics will go to. They can't just say, well, that just might be a Bigfoot. No, they got to go, well, obviously Bigfoots don't exist, so that has to be a bear with mange. Take a closer look at that image. Does that look like a bear? Even a sick bear? It looks like something that has more primate to it. Is it walking on two legs? Is it, I think it is. Is it bending over with its head right in the middle before you and its arm outstretched to the right? Or is that two legs and its arms are down in the front and its head is on the left-hand side? You can look at that either way. So you look at that and you make up your mind. Does that look like a bear, a sick bear, or a bear with mange? What does a bear with mange look like? I don't even know. So maybe I should have looked that up. Bear with mange. So you know what I'm going to do? Because I'm right here. I'm not going to put it up here yet, but bear with mange. If it needs to be shown, I can show it to you. Images. Well, some pictures of bears with mange that might resemble what we got there. Here, let me show you this. Hang on a second. Let's get back to the window here. I'm going to share my screen with you. So let's go to share screen. Boom, boom. All right, guys, here's a bear with mange. Take a look at that. Now, does that look anything like what we saw in that other picture? Looks like long, skinny limbs because he has no hair or no muscle built up on them. That's a bear with mange. There are other pictures of bears with mange. This one looks very long-limbed. This one, deceased, obviously. Bears with mange. That's what they look like. So is that what we're seeing in this other, look at that. So is that what we're seeing in these pictures? Is a bear with mange? Look at that one. So let's go back over here. Let's go back to our picture. And I shall unshare this image. Stop screen share. And I'm going to go back to the slides. And which one were we on? We're on this one right here. Where'd it go? Boom, add to the stream. So is that what we're seeing there? Is that a bear with mange? Where would his head be? Where would his snout be? I'm not sure. But this is what was caught. So they caught bear cubs, but nobody saw a bear with mange after this. This is just what the skeptics claim you're looking at. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Now, this is another footprint. And this is the one known as Johnstown Smelly Bigfoot. So locals in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, were baffled by a footprint measuring 17.75 inches found near a residential home in 1980. And according to the Associated Press, the footprint coincided with reports of strange noises and a strong but unusual odor in the area. Excuse me. So now you see, once again, the irregularity of the footprint here, I think, is something that's rather telling. The irregular shape. And I think that if you step into mud with your own toes, they're not necessarily going to stay straight up and down. You're going to squish and they're going to spread out and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting photograph, I think. And he threw in the matchbook, obviously, for size, but 17 3/4 inches, this measure, and that was in Pennsylvania. You find there's a lot of Bigfoot, Sasquatch sightings in Pennsylvania. And I know someone, Eric Altman, I need to get him back on our show. I had him on a long, long time ago. I think when John Ward and I were still doing, he's the one who gave me my Bigfoot, which is sitting over here. Here, I got to show you. Let me grab him because he's right here. So I can't look at this right now. So
She's 1,208 years old.
Okay, I'm on radio still. All right, let me take this out of here. Here's my Bigfoot casting. And this was up, of course, in the background over here for the longest time. My understanding, it was Eric Altman that gave this to me, and this is a casting of a casting. So this is a second generation casting of, I believe he said it was the Bigfoot print from the Patterson-Gimlin film from that area. So that gives you an idea of size of that foot. Size. You know what they say about someone with a big foot? Big footprints. So that's mine. And so, but that shows you kind of how the toes look and some of the lines running across the foot and so on. And the shape out here, I forget, I don't know what these are all called, these shapes of the foot. So talk to Dr. Meldrum. He'll tell you all about this stuff. I'm just going to set this here for now. So that's my one Bigfoot casting, which I did not cast myself. All right, let's go on to the next one. Now, this one's real hard to see. I'm going to guess by the quality that this is coming off of a film as well. And this is Washington's Blue Mountain Bigfoot sighting. And this was in 1994. A former U.S. Forest Patrolman, Paul Freeman, claimed he saw a family of Bigfoots in Washington's Blue Mountains. And the video is shaky and grainy, but has been deemed the real deal by so-called or so styled Bigfoot experts. Now, you can't tell what that is in the middle of that picture. Just see a black blob. Now, according to the guy who took the film, you can look some of these up, by the way, and probably find the films. I can't show you the films for fear of copyright infraction on YouTube, but that's called, again, the Washington Blue Mountain Bigfoot. Washington Blue Mountain Bigfoot. That was Paul Freeman who filmed that. Now, the 9th one out of 10 that we have is the Mississippi Bigfoot. Now, this one, I look at this picture, and it's really hard to see what you're looking at here. So, which to me says it's either part of a film, because if I saw this on a picture, I wouldn't know what the hell I was looking at. But I think what you're looking at is right smack dead in the middle of the picture. It's like you're seeing shoulders and the butt, because you see the cleave in the butt and one leg coming down in the middle. I think that's what is the Bigfoot. There's no real good explanation here. But the Mississippi resident, Josh Highcliffe, captured video again of this potential Bigfoot while hunting on his property in 2013. And afraid to go back to the woods, he posted the footage to YouTube, asking for help to identify the animal or for a prankster to come forward. Yeah, prankster. Hey, if this is your prank picture, please come forward. Now, this is the one thing about all these types of explanations by skeptics, that this is a prank that's being played on you. My big question would be, why wouldn't somebody hunting deep in the woods come across somebody in a Sasquatch costume? That just seems odd, unless that person is just a freak and wants to dress up in his costume and run around in the woods, not knowing anybody's going to capture him on film. So you hear a lot of that stuff. Quiet with that. You hear a lot of that kind of stuff from skeptics. Yet the skeptic can't explain to you, I'm skeptical of the skeptic's skepticism. What? Somebody got in a costume and ran out in the woods? What? Knowing that there would be campers there that weekend, he got out in the woods. I don't buy that. Most of the time, I don't buy that. Now, there's sometimes you can tell right away it's a costume, but it's not usually casual observers catching it on film. It's usually somebody filming in the woods and saying, look at the Sasquatch I caught on film. Those are the guys that are faking those things. A bear taking a leak with its back toward us. That's what it looks like, Steve Clark, over there in the chat room. So I tend to be skeptical of the skeptics, Because like I say, when I talk about skepticism, and I've talked about this before, there's two kinds of skeptics. There's a big S skeptic and a small s skeptic. I'm a small s skeptic. Skeptic with a small s. And I'm the kind of person that will question. I'm skeptical of something. I want to know why. I want to have some answers. Show me your evidence. All of that. A big S skeptic is the one that will start right away by saying, no, it isn't. No, it doesn't. Oh, that's fake. And they'll look for every reason for it to be something other than what it probably truly is. Now, is that a good skeptical approach? I don't always think so. I don't think you always have to start with a skepticism that is dismissive. You can say, now, this has come to my attention. I'm looking at this picture. I don't know what to make of it. What do you guys make of it? So that kind of a thing. I get really tired of the skeptic for the sake of being skeptical. All right, there's that picture. We got one more to show you. Here we go. Once again, something I would look at and not think that it's a Sasquatch just by the single picture. Except we become a bit conditioned to these photos as well. You go, oh, that black blob, is that a Bigfoot? Is that what you're showing me here? Now, this one is the Provo Bigfoot, number 2. It's another Provo Canyon one. Walking through the Utah hills near Provo Canyon in 2012, a hiker spotted a large animal in the woods. And as he approached, the animal stood up on 2 legs and started throwing rocks at him. Supposedly a trademark behavior of Sasquatches. Now, does that prove that it's a Sasquatch? Because this guy told us this story? Not necessarily. But if something, I've heard a lot of accounts where people say they saw something and they thought, is that a bear? What is that? Am I seeing? And the thing will just stand up and turn and slowly and just walk away. That seems to be the nature of a lot of these sightings. They'll get up, they'll turn, they'll walk away. Sometimes they don't want you near where they are, and they'll throw rocks at you. So, is that what happens? We've got to ask ourselves that question. Now, has anybody here had an encounter with a Bigfoot over in the chat room? Speak up now. What time is it? We got about 8 minutes left of the show. If you've had an experience, let me know. Also, we'll have the captain's cabin, where we'll open this up a little bit as well after we go off air on the radio. Sorry, radio listeners. And sorry, radio listeners who have not been able to see the photographs. There's none of them, I think, other than the first one, the Patterson-Gimlin film image, the most famous shot of all, is about the only one that really looked convincing to me out of this lot of what they were calling some of the best shots of Sasquatch. So there's a show I was going to make mention of if I had time. And now since we've only got about 7-8 minutes left, let me bring this up. I found this on Live Science, livescience.com, which is a pretty good site, scientific site. Now, they're talking about the show that I've mentioned on my show before, Expedition Bigfoot. And now this article came out in 2019. Now they've had 2 full seasons of this show. So this was probably after the first season. But they talk about Expedition Bigfoot that scours Oregon woods for signs of the mythical and elusive beast. And it starts off and says, a man crouches on the Oregon forest floor late at night, peering between the trees for signs of nocturnal life. The scene is pitch black, but his face and hands are visible in infrared footage, and he scans the landscape with a thermal camera, looking for a heat signature that would indicate he isn't alone. Suddenly, a red blob emerges in the distance. Do you see that? He whispers. It's something big. But could it be Bigfoot? North America's fabled ape-like creature? That's the question this man, author and explorer Russell Acord, and his colleagues are trying to answer in the new Travel Channel documentary series Expedition Bigfoot. They're saying it's premiering tonight. So this is when it first premiered. Now, I've seen 2 seasons of this, and the stuff they do on that show is pretty unbelievable. I don't like the way they wrote the introductory paragraph. Of course, they hadn't seen the series yet over here at Live Science, but they're talking about infrared, where you pick up heat signatures, and they'll appear cold, turns up blue and black, and heat signatures turn up yellow and red. You saw a blob of red. So, does anyone else see the tail? I'm missing that one, Barbie D. Which one you're looking at? Maybe it's the one I just took down. Let me look. You're talking about this one? That there's a tail? I'm not seeing the tail. Unless you're talking about that little oblong black blob down below the major part of the black blob. I'm seeing like light reflecting off of fur up above that, as opposed to it being a break in the black blob. But yeah, Barbie D, I see that oblong piece. If you look right above it, the lighter area right above it, I think that's reflective light off of fur. And then it goes dark again, where there's a bend in the knee or a bend in an ankle or whatever it might be. So I think that's all one big piece. That's the way I interpret that anyway, from looking at the lighting in it. Yeah, the other pictures, Steve Clark, these aren't the best photos. I think you have to look up the videos on these things. And that's the best way you're going to be able to see what these images are supposed to look like. So anyway, folks, if you do not have the chance, you can see, go to, if you've got Discovery Plus on your TV. Now, we've got a lot of these little channels because our kids watch them. We watch Discovery Plus. We watch Amazon, where we pull up a lot of shows. You can even find Expedition Bigfoot on YouTube and see some of their clips. But go see if you can watch Expedition Bigfoot, because what I found they did, they applied some very scientific methods to trying to... Good night, I love you. I'll be upstairs in a bit. Oh, you're sleeping down here with Rowan? Okay, sorry, folks. Family business. If you want to sleep in my room, you can sleep in my room too. All right? Okay. At least the pillows smell like Mom. So, I'm looking at my time. We got about 2 minutes left before we have to get out of here. So, I would highly recommend the show because they use some very scientific methods. They use experimentation. They have recorded things. They have filmed things. They have found things, nesting areas, things like this that are very different than anything you've ever seen before. So if you're interested in the whole Bigfoot phenomenon, I think that is a great show, probably one of the best. I enjoyed Finding Bigfoot that was on a few years ago. Loved that show. But that show was all about guys that were Bigfoot researchers finding evidence and pictures that people submit and going and checking out those sites. This show, Expedition Bigfoot, was deliberately scientific. With one of the members is Myra, and I can't think of her last name off the top of my head, but she worked with Jane Goodall for a while, doing primate studies. She's a primatologist. And then you got a couple of other explorers that I think make up a very solid team. And they do some very interesting stuff. So you might want to check out Expedition Bigfoot. And in the meantime, I'm going to wrap that there. I can't get into, there's no time to get into anything else about Bigfoot tonight, but stick around. If you're not used to doing it, stick around for the Captain's Cabin, which takes place right immediately after we go off air with this show. And all we do is cut the connection to the radio station, and we stay live on the video simulcasts. So if you're not there now, come on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And you can check out the Captain's Cabin and join the rest of the Intrepids that are going to be there. So all of you who are over there in Radio Land, I just want to thank you for being here. And I'm going to bid you a hearty farewell. And of course, live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
Where's all the rum? Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Captain's Cabin. Arr. Mateys, climb the mizzenmast, swab the decks, and all of that. And head down below. Sean Stroik saying, head down where? So, sorry, off color, for those of you who don't like off color. Welcome to the Captain's Cabin. And I appreciate your being here. This is the more informal setting, you could say, than the radio show. So if anybody's got a good Bigfoot story or a Sasquatch story, a personal experience that you want to share with us, I want to hear about it. Call in to us. Here, I'm going to get you the invite number. It's not a number. It's the link. If you've got a story of your own personal experience in this area, give me a shout, and we'll bring you on. We'll talk about it. And let's see. I stepped on and in the poop deck. Yeah, that's it. Captain's on the poop deck. Do you guys know which deck is the poop deck? Without looking it up, which deck of the ship was the poop deck? If you were on the poop, Never stepped in Bigfoot poop. I haven't either. So, had some Coca-Cola, that poop deck. Poop deck, it was the highest deck in the back of the ship. So if you're looking at the ship on the side, and this is the bow out here, and the ship comes this way, and you've got the big deck on the back, usually where the wheel was, way up on the back, that's the poop deck, usually up above the captain's cabin. I can't do that backwards. I'm looking at my fingers backwards. So it's out here. Front of the ship, aft of the ship. So that's where the poop deck is. The highest deck. So the tall deck, says Susie Q. That's it. So anybody have any Bigfoot personal experience, personal eyesight, personal hearing Bigfoot, the howling that's been recorded in many places? If not, that's okay. But I've often wondered why, if this creature is a living thing, why is it so elusive? What is it about Sasquatch or Bigfoot or this primate that makes it so elusive? And I think that's what makes people so skeptical of its existence. It's like, if we can't find it, does it really exist? Is the question. How come there's no bones that we can find? Why don't we find any graves, if you will? Not graves traditionally like a cemetery, but like, elephant graveyards. Why don't we find bear graveyards or Bigfoot graveyards? The poop deck modern is on the stern. On the sailing old side, it was the subdeck in the bow. So as late, I know, as the 1500s, David, it was the highest in the stern or the aft of the ship. So probably maybe before that. So they're aliens, says Rudy Kessler. I know that is one of the theories that's out there. Are they interdimensional beings? Is this why you see them in 1 minute and then they're gone? You can't find them. I know even on this Expedition Bigfoot show, where they would pick up heat signatures, and you could see the form of something that was bipedal and big, a massive red dot in the dark out there in the cold. And it would move behind a tree and never emerge again, and you'd never see it again. It's like, where'd it go? If it disappeared behind a tree, did it go cold? Did it disappear? Why didn't it emerge from the other side? Why didn't you see anything out way behind it? Matthew Sainsbury, do you have personal experience with a Bigfoot? Let's find out. Hey, Matthew, what's going on?
Hi, good night. Hi, good night, Scotty Roberts. I've never really had an encounter with anything like that, but I was interested in what you were saying concerning about if these creatures are interdimensional, because I do notice that when people try to locate anything of these creatures, it's very difficult for them to find anything like bones or anything of that nature. So, I've heard a theory, because I was watching a film on my laptop or device recently called Unidentified. It was a Christian religious program, and they were trying to say that some of these things like UFOs or Bigfoots or fallen angels and things like that, different perspectives they were given on it, as to why you can't find any details of these things. So that's just a perspective that they shared. Yeah.
Well, I know that's some of the talk that's out there. It's because you can't figure it out in by logical means, physical means, scientific means. Is it something that falls outside of that? Because the experiences are genuinely real. So this is where the skeptics will say, well, the real experience is obviously a false experience. You're not experiencing what you think you're experiencing if it has to be something from outer space or another dimension. Spiritual in nature. So
because even William Shatner, he did a very good series on the Bigfoot, and he talked about how some people have smelled odors or something when they were nearby
Yep.
these creatures. Yeah. Because last night you were talking about the four angels in the Euphrates River and things like that too, which is another strange thing as well too. Because I remember you showing me a picture in Egypt there on the jinn thing of the creature that was standing behind a pillar or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So there are things in the universe that we can't always explain that, defy
That's
logic.
very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you do with that information? I don't know.
It's
I'd like to
true.
get Dr. Bowers, Professor
Yeah, I'd like
Bowers'
to hear
take
his
on it.
perspective.
So, Captain, be safe. You're loved. Thank you, Amanda. Good to see you out there. I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for stopping in and sharing some love. Love you right back down there in Australia.
Australia.
So, yes. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate your input, brother.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
all right,
thanks.
brother. Talk to you soon. All right, guys. I can't spell, says Sean Stroik. So, good to see you too, matey. So, get below decks and swab the deck. Climb the mizzen mast. Find me some rum. I could use some rum right now. I think rum would be good on my throat or in my chest and so on. I'm better today than I have been in the last 10 days. I think this is the best day I've had. I haven't gone down for nappy time at all today. I didn't have time. Too much stuff going on. And it's not that I couldn't have. I could have laid down and gone to sleep, but I think I got good sleep last night. And which is rare these days. So, like I say, since Rainey's been out of town in Alaska with Flynn, they left a week ago Tuesday. So they've been gone about 10 days. And they'll be gone for about another 7. And I thought this is going to be a great time with my daughters. We'll have a good time, the 3 of us. And the day they left, I got sick. And I was down for 4 days solid at the beginning of this. That first week they were gone, Tuesday through Friday, check right off the list. And all I could do was get up and make sure that they were taken care of. I couldn't cook their food because I was infectious. So all I could do, and neither of them have gotten it. So that's a good thing. And Rainey doesn't have it either. So that's a good thing. So the kids pretty much took care of themselves. They did their own cooking. I instructed them on things to do. Go boil this water, dump this packet of noodles in there and warm it up and so on. And I started cooking, by Saturday of this last week. The doc said I was in the non-infectious zone. So, Sarah, Rainey, and Flynn are back on Thursday of this next week. The 18th is when they come in. I'm not even sure what time. So I don't know if it's morning or evening. I think it's probably later in the day is my guess. So they'll be back on Thursday. Field guy, I swear I thought I saw rimming my eyes hurt. I swear I thought I saw rimming my eyes hurt. Gastro is the new fun thing down here, Scotty. LOL. Oh my God. What's gastro, Amanda? What's going on down there? Gastro, obviously something with the stomach and the gut. So, let's see. Matthew Sainsbury says, well, I was in the town, the city in Barbados today, Bridgetown. That's our capital, but it was so hot. Since I came home, I have a bit of a headache. Hopefully sleep will help. You have air conditioning or at least a fan down there or a punkawalla to wave big leaves so you will cool your fetid brow? Constant Kids Neighbors School, says Amanda. Field guy thought rimming. Oh, ramming was rimming. Oh, gotcha. He knows what that means. Yes.
You know, we're gonna go to bed.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
So you're both sleeping in there tonight? Okay.
And we have the dog.
Say hi to everybody.
Good night.
There's Rowan. So.
I didn't do my skincare tonight.
Oh, no. Whatever shall you do?
Well, then I'm going to get a bunch of pimples.
So go do your skincare and go to bed.
It's too late.
Good night. Pardon me, folks, for not hitting any kind of mute button there. Even if I hit the mute button, you'd still see me coughing. It's pretty much all over except for the coughing now and the stuffy sinuses. So, let's see. What'd you say? Come on, what else can God throw at us all? Yeah, ain't that the truth? Maybe it's not God. Maybe it's something else. I wonder.
Can I come in my room at all, or can I lock the door?
You want to lock the door? Go ahead and lock the door. I'll pound if I need to get in for anything.
You just pick lock it.
Yeah, whichever.
I can't have clowns getting into my room.
No clowns coming in your room in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So.
Guess what Lucy did? We decided to bring Lucy in there because no one in the right mind's gonna sleep without their dog, and so we put her up on my bed, and she decided she was gonna sniff around and find her spot, and she decided to lay her upper.
An egg. Oh, go ahead.
She decided to lay her upper body on Hillary's pillows, but then she laid her butt on my pillows, and her butt's still on my pillows.
There you go.
Now I'm stuck with dog butt pillows.
There you go, dog butt pillow. That's what you get when you let the dog sleep in your bed. Dog butt pillow. Because, you know, the dog, by the way, when she's gone up into Rainey's in my room, she'll go up there and jump up on the bed, and all the pillows are stacked. You know, the bed's usually made every day because I do that. I'm not anal about it. I just like my bed made. But the pillows are all at a diagonal, laying up at the top of the bed. And the dog goes in there. I find her 9 times out of 10, spread all the way across all the pillows, every single pillow covered by dog.
They're not my pillows. They're Mom's pillows.
So, dog butt pillow brings good luck, said Field Guy.
No, it doesn't.
Right there.
It gives you.
If Field Guy said it, it's true.
It gives you dog pink eye.
Dog pink eye. I've never heard of that. So.
They're Mom's pillows, though.
Rowan's novel. So, what did Amanda say? Amanda said something. Oh, she said, oh, ha, oh no. That's to the dog sleeping on your pillow, getting dog butt on your pillow. Okay, good night.
Good night.
I love you.
Love you too.
Good night. See you in the morning. If anything creepy happens, like ghosts or anything, you can come upstairs and get me.
Oh, why would I come upstairs? Because then I'd have to walk past the ghost.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll just call you.
Just call me.
And I will call you until you answer.
That's it. That's it. So, sweet dreams, says Uncle Dave.
Okay.
Flip the pillow over, he said. There's the solution. Just flip the pillow over.
I can't. Then she'll move, and she's too cute.
Oh, she's too cute. She wants to keep her there. So, all right. Oh, I just see something in the camera here when I turn that. I was going to mention to you guys. I got this book the other day I got this at Half Price Books. And this book cost me $15 at Half Price Books. It's a big book, as you can see. But it's the North American Indian. And it says on the back, the North American Indian is a remarkable documentation of the lives of America's first inhabitants. Edward Sheriff Curtis, 1868 through 1952, devoted his life to recording the traditional culture of the Native American Indians. Over the course of more than 2 decades, he published 20 legendary portfolios studying 80 Indian tribes from Mexico to Alaska. And what this book is, it is such a gorgeous little book. I'll just try to give you an idea here just by flipping through it. It's all is photographs from every different tribe in North America. And it's just a lush, gorgeous book of photos. Just really things you've never seen before. Shots like this guy over here standing in the creek bed and so on. All kinds of wonderful shots in here. Like this, like these. So this is some really nice pictures in here. And like I said, he goes tribe by tribe. Like, look at this. Look at the decoration. Look at the clothing. Oh, that's a papoose. That's a baby right there. See the baby crying. Do you want something else?
This is the dog.
Oh, very nice. And there you go. Here. This is the dog in Rowan's room.
My LED lights give it a little bit of a shine.
There you go. So that is, she looks like a baby seal. And so that's Lucy stretched across the pillows in the blue lights in Rowan's room.
Blue lights are good
So
to
there you
sleep
go.
with. They're supposed to give you good dreams.
Yeah, that's really nice. I like the way your room looks with the way you have the lights rigged up.
Okay, I'm going.
Okay, good night. Good night for real.
You want your phone?
Yeah, is that my phone? Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Just like put on my phone.
Thank you. Thank you. So, beautiful little book. And, it documents some very typical shots. And you've probably seen this one over here before. But his work is just stunning. So, yeah, I got that the other day for just $15 at used half price books. So, I wanted to share that with you the other night. I didn't feel like it. It was just so out of sorts. I just wanted to get through my material and be done and go to bed. So that's the way I was the other night. So let's see. What am I missing over here in the chat? The chat. Elderberry. Yeah, the voice is getting there. It's getting there. I'm still just a little stuffy. And I still have the little coughing jags. But other than that, it's starting to come back. Slowly but surely. So, what else is going on in here? Anything? Nah, nothing new. So, just banter back and forth. So, anybody else out there? Let's just kind of open up the line a little bit. Since it's the captain's cabin, since I don't have Professor Bauer tonight, I don't have Uncle Dave tonight, and we really we haven't since before I was sick, because I was off air all last week, but then this week, haven't seen much of Professor Bauer other than a pass by, and Uncle Dave's been busy, so we haven't done much of a captain's cabin. Tonight's probably the first night I feel anything like doing a captain's cabin, but I'm still not tip top. By next week, I think everything will be back in order. Knock on wood. So, Uncle Dave was here earlier. I saw him. He said hi to Rowan. They've got, he mentioned he's at Convergence. Convergence is a big sci-fi fantasy type of a convention here in the Minneapolis area. And it's usually on the 4th of July weekend or right around the 4th of July. So it's this year, it's this weekend. And we used to go there all the time. We'd set up a booth. I'd speak at I did presentations at Convergence. And I also, they have this big courtyard, this atrium, that's got a swimming pool in it. And it goes up for the 3 or 4 stories of the hotel. And they all have balconies. And on the ground floor, there's the cabana suites. And if you could get a cabana suite, all these different clubs and organizations and groups of friends and people, they all do thematic rooms, cabanas that are open to the public. And you have to serve something. You have to serve some alcohol or drinks of some kind, or hors d'oeuvres, whatever you want to do, but you can't charge anybody a penny. You can put out a tip jar, I think, but you can't charge anybody. And so you would walk around to all these cabanas and rooms at Convergence. And then, of course, they'd have all the lecture rooms. There were 100 lectures going on, all different kinds of topics that you wouldn't believe. They'd have special speakers there, people from within the comic book industry, the movie industry, all of this stuff. And so it's like the San Diego Comic-Con, only a little smaller. And I think we'd get 20 to 30,000 people would go to this thing on the weekend. And so it was pretty crazy. The last year I went, I think I hadn't been there in 10 years. I went and met some friends there a few years ago and said hi to people, saw people, walked around to the cabanas and so on. But then everybody's in costume as well. So it's a big costumed cosplay event, and which made it a lot of fun. There were some fantastic costumes. Rudy, have you ever been to Convergence? I know you're up here and you're with this crowd. Oh, you made mugs today. Yeah, so you got Fest starting, was it this weekend? Fest starts tomorrow? So the Minnesota Renaissance Festival, I think, starts tomorrow. And Rudy's doing his mugs out there. So let's see. So that's what Dave was talking about when he was talking about Convergence. He was like, come and visit our room in 5119. You visit their room for the lodge, has a room there. What have you rowdy chatters been doing? Says Elderberry. I know one year we were going to do for Intrepid magazine. This is back when Micah Hanks was part of Intrepid and Paradigm Symposium. We were planning on doing a cabana room that we were going to set up in a very early 1960s style. And we were going to wear the suits and we were going to do the Mad Men room from the series Mad Men. So the 1960s advertising agency guys. And that's who we were going to be with Intrepid magazine and the Paradigm Symposium. And we didn't actually pull it off that year. We had to pull out and couldn't do it that year. But something we wanted to do that we never got done. Mug of the Woods, that's it. So, but that's the kind of stuff we did. One group had, a Star Trek group had a room set up, and they brought in actual set pieces and built in the cabana room. They designed it ahead of time, then brought it in and built it. The old Star Trek original series, like the briefing room, where it had the big arch that would come over, two of them in the rooms, if you remember the old series. And they did the lighting, and they did the big table, and they had a transporter in there, and the transporter pads, and then they had the captain's chair as well. So, back when Joe was alive. Gotcha, Rudy. That's a long time ago. So, yeah, it was 10 years for me. So, anyway, it would have been fun to do the Mad Men room. That's all I'm saying. And some of them were a little cheesy. Some of them were really cool. And you had all the costumed characters walking around. So we had a good time with that. It was always a good time. So that's where Uncle Dave is right now. Cecil B. DeMille and Erwin Schrödinger were born today. Oh, here's Uncle Dave. Let's bring him in. Uncle Dave.
How is everyone doing tonight?
I'm
I'd call
excellent.
in quickly from Convergence and just say howdy, howdy.
Now, what are you doing at Convergence? Are you working like security or something?
No.
You got the badge,
I did that for decades and decades,
Yeah.
but I'm no longer doing that. Our lodge, our Masonic lodge, hosts a party room here. And
Yeah.
we do a big puzzle room, and you have to solve all these puzzles. And if they get through that, they get to come back and join me in the bottle in the back room
Very
and
nice.
have a sip.
Very
And,
nice.
So
what are the puzzles like?
they
Who
are
built Solomon's temple?
no, they're very complex. Our puzzle master is a freaking genius, and there's 3 primary puzzles you have to. No, there are 5 puzzles. 5 puzzles? 3 primary puzzles that you have to do. They all involve math and prime numbers and all kinds of crap like that. I don't know.
I guess I wouldn't be drinking with Uncle Dave.
No, I am not able to drink with Uncle Dave because I haven't solved the puzzles. I can pour the booze, but I can't.
Those wacky Masons. Everybody's there to have fun, and they have math problems.
But we are one of the most popular party rooms. People love it. So
I loved the party rooms there. So that was the best part of the show. Wandering around the party rooms.
That is absolutely true. I have live entertainment here tonight.
Is that the party room?
Yeah, we're in the party room.
I can't see who that is.
Yeah, that's Jay Kelch.
Oh, Jay! How you doing?
Scotty says hi. Hi, Scotty.
Good to see you, brother. You're on live radio.
Yeah. So, so anyways, that's hey, Rowan.
Hi.
Your dad didn't read to you what I had said before, but if you flip those pillows over, you'll be fine.
That's right.
No.
Turn the pillowcases inside out.
Love you, sweetie. Why are you still up? I thought you were going to bed.
Yeah, I thought you went to bed.
I said I was going to bed. I didn't say I was going.
I am going to go. I just haven't decided
I'm
when.
going to go. I just haven't done it yet. So
Is Ellery in bed?
Yeah.
she's sleeping already? I haven't heard a peep out of her.
No, she's not.
Well, she had a full day. What was getting kicked?
She had a full day.
And stuck in the
Getting
slot
stuck in
swing.
a baby swing and then getting kicked in the face.
Oh,
by
I
a
was laughing
12-year-old.
so hard. I was laughing so hard when you were explaining that. Oh my god.
Knocked her tooth out.
Knocked her tooth out. And I was just about to type, hey, does she have her tooth yet? And then you said, oh, she got kicked in the face and lost her tooth.
Right. Elderberry says, hey, I just ate. Elderberry, if you get dog butt on your pillow, just flip the pillowcase inside out. Duh.
You don't even have to do that. Just take the pillow and flip it over.
That's right.
But then it won't smell like Lucy.
Oh, then it won't smell like my dog.
That's a good thing.
Which is probably a good thing when I go to bed.
Yeah.
There's nothing like grabbing one of my pillows when I go to bed at night.
Rowan, when are you
smells
going to take
dog.
me to Chinese buffet?
I'm
Yes.
It's your turn. When are you going to take me to Chinese buffet? Can you take me this week?
broke. I'm broke.
You going to take me this week? Can we go to Chinese buffet? Will you
How
take
about
me?
next week?
I only have
How about-
$2.
But you need more money than that. Get more money.
Nope.
Get more
you gotta
money.
Take me,
No.
You got to take me. It's your turn.
I don't.
That's right.
Okay.
He's
Nobody.
pretending he's you.
Go wake your sister up and ask her when she's going to take me to Chinese buffet. It's her turn.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah. So, as most everybody knows, this is if you're new to the program and you're new to the captain's cabin, this is the informal part of our show. We've already gone off live radio, and we get a little casual and we let our hair down.
Oh, he lets our hair down.
Let our hairs down, all of them.
But you don't have any hair.
I got enough.
There, I
got
let
enough
my
to
hair
make you
down.
bald.
I let my hair down.
Look, he's Gandalf now.
Who is that?
Oh, okay. Wait. I
He
can
doesn't
do
know
that
who
too.
Gandalf is? You don't know who Gandalf is?
No.
Now I'm Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah, Dumbledore always ties his up.
Okay, I'm going to bed.
Good night. See ya.
Love you, sweetie. Sweet dreams.
All we do is start talking about things that bore her. So you could do a good Gandalf.
I could do a good Dumbledore as well.
A wizard is never early or late. He arrives precisely when he's meant to.
Yes.
So,
Uh,
well, what do you want to talk about? What do you got time to talk about?
I was enjoying your Bigfoot conversation.
It's an
Did you see
interesting topic.
the? Did I share with you the video the other night of the truckers at the truck stop at
No.
the rest area?
Oh, maybe you did, and I didn't see it yet.
I don't send those just for my health. I send you those videos because are on topic.
You know, do you know how many hundreds of videos I get sent every week? So
there's a good one. Go out to. I sent it from my Chef Dave page because I was on the tablet at the time. But it's two trucker. You can see the trucks. They're sitting at an overnight rest stop. Their headlights are pointed towards the woods, and you can hear these Bigfoot calls from the woods. And the guys, and you hear him going, what the fuck is that? It's like, I am starting to regret that I parked here for the night.
Nice. I may have watched that one.
And he keeps commenting on it. And this thing is howling from the. And if I were him, I'd have turned my headlights on. There's the parking lot lights are on, but I would have turned my headlights and illuminated those woods.
Yeah.
Whatever
Put
it
on
was,
your
it was
high
loud
beams.
and close. You can hear. You can if you listen, you can hear tree knocks and two different ones screaming back and forth at each other.
See, now I've never personally had any experience with Bigfoot. I've never had the sounds, the knockings. I suppose it would take walking in the woods to get any of that. I haven't done any of that.
I never run into him downtown St. Paul. I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't get it. Cedar Avenue, that's as close to the woods as I get. So,
yeah, I think if I were in the woods and heard that, I would be done being in the woods. That would be
yeah,
like,
you know.
and I'm
now,
leaving.
here's the big question that you wonder about: is Bigfoot, since we have no documented cases of people being attacked by a Bigfoot or injured by a Bigfoot,
That we know of because they don't survive.
Well, yeah, maybe that's the whole 411 thing. Those are the people we've never heard from again. Do they attack people? Are they vicious toward people? Is
I
it
don't
on
know.
an individual basis? We just don't know, because it's like if I hear a bear in the woods, I'm not going to run toward the bear to get a better picture.
I am
But if I
pretty
hear a
sure that
Sasquatch in the
screaming
woods-
sound they do is Bigfoot for get out.
I think you're right. When you hear,
And I don't speak Bigfoot, but I am completely willing to get out.
Yeah, I'm completely willing to believe that that's what they mean. So, Sarah's only sent me two. That's right. The swearing is obligatory. I missed something. I don't know if you're talking to me, Sarah, or not. So,
Hello,
you would
lovely
think
Sarah.
you'd see more evidence in the woods. Yeah, you would. I would think so. Creatures of that size would need a lot of food to maintain themselves. Well, there was one guy that said he followed. I just saw this earlier tonight.
You continue talking. I'm going to pour some whiskey for some people.
A Bigfoot into the woods, and he came to a place where he found like 24 deer legs that had been ripped off, and they were all in piles. Now, somebody had said once, and I don't know how people know this because nobody's done a definitive study on Bigfoots. How do you know that a Bigfoot rips off the legs of its animals, its prey, to keep them from being able to run away? You don't know. How do you know this? So I don't know. There you go. Drinks to live music.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm here.
Talking away. Just watching you pouring drinks.
Well, we have 4 people that solve the puzzle, and I have to reward them.
Can't be that hard a puzzle then, huh? Unless you have very smart participants.
They are very intelligent participants.
There you go.
Only the best come through our room.
Legs are the best meat. I like dark meat, said Sarah Yusuf.
You know what we don't get a lot of?
What?
The drunk college kids.
Well, I'll bet not. What, I gotta solve a math problem to drink?
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, you far.
Anybody
Would you
I
like
know
a lovely
over there?
sandwich?
Sure.
Cheers.
Now, this is scintillating live video, folks. Watching Dave serve drinks and sandwiches. What kind of sandwiches you got, Dave?
Scintillating radio, isn't it, folks?
Scintillating live radio. So, several dinners and a rug, says Susie Q. Oh, boy. So, creatures that size would need to eat a lot of food, says Sarah. Yeah. If I see a bear at my place, it would be dinner and a rug. That's where I saw that. Yeah, Rudy, if you catch an extra bear, I would really like to have a bear rug.
And I am very bad at witching.
Oh,
But you're sort of in that all right. Yeah.
that's interesting background conversation.
Yeah.
So, as I was going to say, if I saw a bear in the woods, I wouldn't go running toward the bear to get a better picture of it.
I would not either.
Now, if I saw a Sasquatch
And in fact, if somebody saw me running in the woods, it would be because there is a bear behind me. Now, if I saw a Sasquatch, would I run toward the Sasquatch to get a better picture, or do you run away? How do you know what to do? How do you know what its reaction is going to be? I have thought about this. I think my first reaction would be to freeze and watch it. As long as it's keeping its distance, I would stay and watch and film as much as I could.
Yes, yes. Now, there are
But
some.
if it moved a fraction of a millimeter towards me, I would be gone.
Now, there are some people that I have recently seen recent films where people are filming a Sasquatch rushing them through the tall grass. And of course, it's still fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's never clear. And of course, they're running, so the camera starts doing this, and
Yeah. My mom came up with
you hear it grunt or something, then they turn around and it's running back the other direction, so it's run them off.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
So, sausage gravy, anyone? Says Susie Q. Muskrat and porcupine, way greasy. I can only imagine, David Otness. Muskrat and porcupine doesn't figure high on my list.
Got to make you a thicker roux. You got greasy meat.
Nah, greasy meat, yeah. Michelle, you do bears in the woods? LOL, says Barbie D.
What you missed in the comments earlier, you need to rum that cough.
A little rum. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You got any rum?
Rumming. So that's what Field Guy was talking. I was talking about.
Oh, rumming.
And he thought I said rimming.
The context.
That's why he was laughing
together
so
now.
hard.
Well, Field Guy's going to hear rimming before he hears rumming.
Yeah.
So.
But you do a shot of rum, and then you do another shot of rum, and you keep that up until you catch a buzz. And right where you are at that point of catching a buzz, then you just maintain that buzz for as long as you can. So like every 30 minutes, every hour, you take another shot. And if you can do that for 4 or 5 hours, whatever cold is in you will leave your system.
Will leave you lickety split.
And I had a talk with a doctor about this, and he was like, "Well, I don't." And I said, "What do you use to clean the counters in the hospital?" "Well, alcohol." Aha!
Aha! Aha!
So I said, "I use that to clean my internal organs and whatever I have an infection. Usually, if I feel a cold coming on, I will rum myself that night. Gone, no cold."
I wish I had some rum around here. I don't.
You can do it with scotch. You can do it with any alcohol.
Well,
but
that's
rum is the go-to for me.
Rum is better.
Well, and I don't get drunk off of it. I can drink huge amounts of it and not get it. I catch a
Who
buzz.
was it that was, that reminds me of, the old days of pirate shots. Who was that?
Pirate
woman
shots
that was
are totally
giving me
different.
Pirate shots. What's that?
A pirate shot is totally different. A pirate shot is where you fill your mouth and then put your mouth to somebody else's mouth and expel your rum into their mouth. That's a pirate shot.
That was very sanitary the way you put that. I had a woman say to me, and I can't think of who it was even.
I had a woman say, "I want a pirate shot." I gave her one. She was like,
I had
did
a
not know
woman
what
say,
that was.
"Scotty, have you ever had a pirate shot?" And I said, "I think I have. What's a pirate shot?" She goes, "Here, come here." And she's in a Renaissance dress, low cut. And she took a bottle of rum and she went, "Come here, I'll show you." She puts her arm around me and she takes a big swig of rum and then kisses me and expels all that rum into my mouth.
Pirate shot.
Pirate. And that's what she said. She went, "Ah." She goes, "Pirate shot." And I said, "Well, give me a double."
Oh, so you were a swallower.
That night. So, raccoon.
Congrats, ladies and gents.
Thank you. Thank you.
You might want to set it on fire. Sadly, no Bigfoot. I haven't eaten any raccoon.
I've never done a pirate shot with a Bigfoot before. No.
No. I haven't.
No.
I'm told it's real greasy.
Bigfoot is greasy. I've never had Bigfoot before.
Bigfoot, I haven't.
Bear is greasy.
Bear's
At least
greasy.
black bear is greasy.
I had some bear meat that was actually really very good.
I thought it
didn't
was
get
tasty,
greasy off of
but it tends to be a greasier meat. But again, you just need a thicker roux. Make a gravy that's not so, absorbs that grease up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you know that Canadian goose is protected. The cop said to the poacher. The poacher said, "Well, okay." And the cop says, "Well, let me ask you, what's it taste like since you had it?" And he goes, "Well," he says, "it's not too bad. It's somewhere between bald eagle and and he came up with something else. I can't remember the joke.
As long as I'm going to prison for poaching, let me ask you.
I'm going to prison. Somewhere between bald eagle and something else. So, muskrat love. I took my daughters to see the new Minions movie today. Gru, the third Gru movie. And it was cute. It was all right. So I took them to that this afternoon, and they're talking about muskrat love. That came up because they had the movie takes place in 1976 when Gru is an 11-year-old boy and 10-year-old boy, something like that. And they had the whole music track was all the music you can think of from the mid-70s. Muskrat Love, I believe, was one of them playing in the background. So, Bald Eagle and Trumpeter Swan. There it is, David Otness.
He doesn't know Muskrat Love.
So, bear can be greasy. It's all how you cook it. So, man, I've had carrots that are greasy depending on who cooked them. So, there's some greasy carrots.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Children tend to be real greasy when you cook them up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I said to Abby and Bryn. I was just able to pull that on Rowan and Ellie the other day. I was cutting up some leeks. You know those leeks I don't know.
Yeah.
Slicing up leeks.
Do I know what leeks are? Are you
said
being funny?
Yeah. I'm cutting up leeks, and I said, you know what the difference between cutting up leeks and cutting up little girls is? Oh, what, Dad? I said, I don't cry when I cut up little girls. Oh, gross. You're so gross. Buttery carrots are good. Yes, I like buttery carrots. Spring bear is like a young bear. That's like veal, the veal of bear.
They're bouncy. Spring bear are bouncy.
Bouncy, 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 fun, 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 fun.
Spring bear are a lot like tigers.
Yes. They're wonderful things. Bigfoot is supposedly married to Elvis on a UFO, if the tabloids are to be believed. That would only be one Bigfoot, Sarah. How do you account for all the rest? I just poked a hole in your theory. So, well, as you can see, everybody who's still here, the captain's cabin tonight is nothing intellectual, nothing too deep, nothing too frying the brain over. But I'm running out of speed.
I hear that.
I'm starting to drop. So, Uncle Dave, I wish I was there. I wish I was at Convergence. That would be fun.
I wish I wasn't.
How we wanted to do, Micah Hanks and I, when we were doing Paradigm and Intrepid magazine, wanted to do a Mad Men room.
Yeah.
And all decked out.
I heard you talking about that earlier.
Yeah, that had to be 10 years ago. So, but we never did it. So anyway, Uncle Dave at Convergence. It looks like a slow night there so far. The puzzles can be hard. So I know Convergence was always fun.
Oh, there's a ton of people out there solving them right
20,000 people out there roaming around in costumes.
Yeah.
So, well, you have a good night. And a
I
good
will.
weekend.
Everybody, do something good for somebody.
There you go. And I'll see
Say
you
that every
maybe
night.
on Sunday, depending
All
on
right.
what shape you're in.
Yeah, I'll probably see you Sunday morning.
Okay, I love you, brother. See you
All
later.
right, love you too, man.
All right, folks, we're going to clear out of here, I think, for tonight. I appreciate everybody who's been here tonight and who is still here tonight. And I'm about done. As the Scots say in Scots English, I'm done out. Meaning I'm all done out. I'm all done out. Done out. So you all have a good night. You know what? Live long and prosper. See you Sunday morning.